Testing, testing.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, it's Alex, everyone.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you doing, Alex?
Doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. We're drawing the backs of characters' heads. I think we've appropriately, ironically hyped this up.
Mhm.
In the although we got some good engagement, I think, on the tweet. Maybe it was because of the maybe it was because of the image.
Yes, I was trying to figure out who all of the backs of heads were
Ah,
because we've got the first one. I couldn't figure out if it was an apple or not. If we're going from the right, Mabel, easy, pumpkin.
sorry. Let me
Could spot
let me see if I
them.
can find it, and I'll bring it up. Yes, definitely, it was Mabel on the right.
Mhm. In the middle, we've got that's the artichoke, so that's Heidi.
That's Heidi.
Right?
Yeah.
But on the left, I couldn't figure out if it was a red apple or not.
Oh, you're gonna be annoyed you didn't get it.
Is it not? Is it not? But the shape isn't Hubert.
No,
Do we have a cherry?
it's not an apple. It's not an apple. That's this one. This one here.
Yeah. I couldn't figure it out, and I was very upset with myself because I'm very good with the characters, I like to think.
Shall I go for the reveal?
Yes, please.
Character is Alex.
Oh,
Who's a peach.
that makes sense.
And unfortunately wasn't named after you, but
No, but it's fitting.
it's fitting either way. No, I had all the characters and their names. I knew exactly. Well, I've still got, because some of them we haven't done yet, but I had like a list of all the characters' names and like what they would be and their personality and everything, and I've just worked my way through them. I've had that list for well, years now. Probably going on 4 years. And I don't know, I tend to forget to go in and mark them. You know, it's good to mark things, isn't it?
Mhm.
Whether or not you've actually started them or not. But I think I've at least made a start on all of them. I don't know. I've certainly not finished all of them, but that's what we're doing here, is making a little more progress on the game's development.
So, are the backs of heads just not in it at all for the villagers at the moment?
Oh no, they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to turn around. Or if they did, their head would kind of do a weird kind of owl thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a bit unsettling. No, they definitely move. It's just, well, essentially the characters that do have. Once a character has everything they need to be in the game, they're in the game essentially. And so there's currently about, I think, I don't know how many are in the game actually.
Mm-hmm.
More than 20. I think. I don't know. It's been a long time since I looked at my spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And a little tip. Actually, it doesn't always work, but sometimes to do the back of the head, you can usually just invert them horizontally like this. But it doesn't always work. I think in this case it won't work, and I haven't quite figured out the rule of like when it does work and when it doesn't. But because I think the characters with cross sections, you have to keep the orientation. I'm not sure quite the logic in that, but if I remove, it immediately looks like the back of the head. The back of the head takes no time at all, really. If I just remove not the whole thing. Oh, I might have. Okay, this one would take a little longer. Usually I draw the lighter over the darker, but I've actually drawn the dark over the light here. So away we go. Did you see those? I feel like it was going around recently. There was like TikToks about how mirrors aren't actually. They're not actually a flipped image. They're like an inverted image or something, which is different. I don't know. I still haven't quite wrapped my head around that. It doesn't quite make sense to me. I feel like I need to sit down one evening and just be like commit to understanding that as a concept.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Have you seen those?
Yeah, the videos where it's like they'll tell you to cut out
Yeah,
like a right rather than writing something down and holding it up backwards, like is to cut it out
that's
and
right.
then
Yeah. So
you can see that it's a lot of it is your head flipping it rather than the actual image, which is just confusing.
so is your head flipping it?
Like in your mind, not literally.
No,
your head.
no, I know, but like I still don't really get how that works. So your head sees
Yeah.
the wrong thing and it like corrects it for you.
I think so. I'm gonna Google it because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Mirrors are in. I'm gonna look up on my phone rather than my computer because my keyboard is so loud.
That's all right. I think mine's pretty loud. I think most of the stream is just me clacking away. I got my little keyboard shortcuts and I hammer them. Every time I watch back a little VOD, I'm always like, oh no, shouldn't have got the MX. No, what's it called? The cherry browns.
Nice.
Oh, hi Sparrow. Thanks for joining us, as always. Mirrors are equivalent to a 3D inversion plus a 180-degree rotation. That makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm so glad you shared it,
No.
but I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I guess the thing is that we think of a mirror as a 2D image, but it's not. I think that's kind of where at least my confusion comes in. Plus a 180-degree rotation. Yeah. No, I still haven't quite. I think I remember watching a video about it and like canning it, and I was like, one day I'll understand this, but today is not that day. I'm not sure if it does. Is there any like real life application to it? Do I need to change the way I think or approach something? I'm not sure.
I don't understand. It's too confusing.
Yeah. I wonder.
Yeah, the sentence of this article says, think about it from the mirror's perspective, and I just don't want to.
Yeah, how's the mirror feeling about it? But is that right? Is it our heads flipping it for us? Because I know our heads do things like that, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that whole thing like if for some reason your brain, or what is it? Oh, if you wear those glasses that flip the image, then your head eventually flips it back the right way, which is cool.
There are too many layers to this.
Too many layers. I was reading something the other day about how like, essentially there's like, I don't know how it was provable. Maybe it's not provable, but there's like a good evidence that we live kind of like 5 seconds in the past, and everything we experience is actually like has already happened a bit. And I still can't quite grasp that because we still react to things, don't we?
Is that where deja vu comes from?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Although, well, I'm sure some people might argue that because deja vu is like a memory from long ago, isn't it? Usually,
yeah, but
or not a memory at all.
I thought I read something about, or maybe this was another urban myth about how it's like one half of your brain is responding slower to the other half of your brain, which is why you get deja vu because your brain is literally receiving the information at slightly different times. Okay. I have no idea if that is true.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I feel like when I get deja vu, I can usually almost it feels like 90% of the ingredients of the same memory are there. Do you know? Does that make sense?
No, but
okay.
I also...
like say there was a time maybe a year ago, me and you streamed, and I was drawing something, and I've got my OBS is there, and maybe you say something about a canned food, but you say something quite specific, and then in that moment, I start like shading something. Even though it's like a different canned food or a different thing you're slightly talking about, and even though I'm shading a different thing, because 90% of the ingredients are there, it's like my brain can feel it, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As long as I explained it right. I don't know if that's the case, but... because it's that sense that you've been there before, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's because you have been there before. At least that's my theory.
Hello, Blank Shaw.
Hello.
Have you been here before?
Chris, have you been here before? Chris has been here. He's always here. God, can't get rid of him. What are you doing
But
here, Chris? We've made it clear to you. No, it's all good.
I am very much enjoying this back of the head of the sweet
Yeah.
potato. I am obsessed with this sweet potato.
Yeah, and this is a backer character. I think this is the design proposal I sent to the backer. And I think the idea is they're like a doctor. And I don't want to mess up the spelling, but I think it's, I don't know, Levanus, I think. Is that I think it's a real name. I'm not sure. Hi Fern, welcome in. But yes, and they were very happy with the results. So this will be the character that goes into the game. And I think that means actually that all backer characters have now been streamed at some point, in some stage. I hadn't intended that, but it just occurred to me that I think that's probably the case.
I can't wait to show them off. They're so fun. I'm a big sweet potato fan in general. I don't like potatoes, but I will absolutely always take someone up on the offer of a sweet potato.
You don't like potatoes?
No, not particularly. Like, I'm even hit and miss with like good fries from a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Okay.
But I could pass on a potato.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, my mum would sometimes serve us up like just a potato, like on the side, and that was like the carbs for the meal. And I remember struggling to get through that. But yeah, that's like most things, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be like saying I don't like pasta, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but it'd be like saying I don't like pasta, and all I've ever eaten is like just a sack of plain pasta that wasn't cooked in seasoned water or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Chips can be hit and miss. Hit or miss, I should say. Hit and miss. One or the other.
It could be hit and miss, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's, it can be hit and it can be missed.
Hit and or miss.
Yeah, that's what it should correctly be. Hit and or miss.
It's like an Elliott Smith album. What were we talking about before that? I can't remember.
We were talking about deja vu. We got into a very deep philosophical question about experience and
then we went on to potatoes.
Inversions, which I think is a very normal thing to do, a normal jump to make.
Oh yeah, the mirrors and everything. How did we get onto potatoes? Oh, we're talking about sweet potatoes.
Yes.
Apparently, here's a fun thing about sweet potatoes, is if we were ever to take something with us to a new planet to cultivate, sweet potatoes offer the most nutrients.
This is why they're superior.
For it's sort of nutrients to, it's like a ratio, like nutrients to the amount we put in, or something like that. Or maybe not nutrients, but like basically input output, right? Or maybe it's just the right things that a human needs. So yeah, that's what we'd be shipping off. That would be our first export. At least I think so. I don't know. I read that somewhere. I think it was in the description of do you remember that guy who like builds things in his wood in Australia? What's he called?
I don't know who you mean.
Do you not? It was really big like 5 years ago. Primitive Technologies. There's a lot of copycats now where the guy like makes huts out of mud and he doesn't talk for the whole video. It's like really relaxing.
Oh.
Surely Fern knows, or Sparrow. I feel like Sparrow might know.
It feels like a Sparrow.
Primitive
knows everything.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe. I just get that inkling. But I think that, they were really big, a little while ago. They came back, but I don't think they get quite as many views anymore.
Oh.
It was one of those things that was sort of had its time. Maybe people still watch it. I'm not sure. Primitive Technologies. I think he's in Australia. Makes mud huts and like tools. Like I'm trying to think something you might do, like a bow and arrow, or like a thing that starts a fire or something, or something that washes your potatoes that's powered by a river. It was like something he did, and I think one time
I think you just wash them in the river.
Yeah, maybe true. Or he does things where you can set them to like grind clay or something. I don't know, and and it's powered by the river, and he goes off and he works on his hut or something.
Wild.
But I think it was like that. Yeah, it was like the beginning of. I feel like nobody had done that no talking thing before. He was kind of like he pioneered that. Maybe, I don't know. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's so nice that a YouTube video isn't just like, yo, what's up, guys? I'm here in my forest." You know. Oh, new to you as well. Oh man. Give it a look up. I think, yeah. Maybe it's lost its novelty, but. Do you watch any good YouTube channels, Alex? I feel like I'm running out.
I watch a lot of very niche, nerdy ones for my interests.
Yeah, okay.
So like I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. So I have sort of been brought into a lot of lore videos and like art videos about it, and they're all fantastic. But I don't know how interesting they would be for someone who maybe doesn't play.
Yeah, I think I would. Wouldn't be
Yeah.
first on my list.
Do you know the YouTube account Sideways? They're quite big.
Do they do like let me have a quick peek. Also, I'm sorry everyone. I think about 3 notifications went through at the beginning of the stream. I'm really sorry. I muted my emails so they wouldn't come through, but then my desktop notifications saw my email notification, sent it through. Anyway, I messed up. Sideways.
Yeah, they do music.
Oh, they do music. Oh, that's cool. Oh,
yeah.
But they're like essays.
Yeah, so they'll look at music in different pop culture, like TV shows, films, musicals. They do a lot of kind of really interesting things about like modern musicals and Disney musicals, and kind of saying like, you know how sometimes you'll watch a modern movie musical and you'll just go like, this doesn't capture the same things as films like, I don't know, Sound of Music does, or
yeah,
or even like Phantom of the Opera, which is
it's got here the first thing that came up is why Mulan didn't work. So I'm guessing they're like,
yeah.
I think I might have seen that one actually. I think I might have watched that. That's 2 years ago now. Was that when Mulan came out, the new one? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My favorite video by them is the one about Avatar, because there's so much history about how James Cameron wanted a really alien sounding soundtrack. Like he really wanted to kind of lean in on the idea that this is meant to be a completely different world full of completely different people. And then basically went to the composer, you've made a sound that doesn't sound like a blockbuster, so we're not going to use it. And it's like, but that's literally what you asked for, and that was the whole point. Like, how you can't just like, you have to like lean into it if you're going to go, I want this to sound alien. And then what we've got is very just like typical blockbuster. It's still great. I love the Avatar soundtrack, but
I think it was I got like a book on game design like years ago. I didn't get very far through it, but I think there was a thing on like they would take a game like I think it was like a shoot 'em up or something, and they'd give it to a load of playtesters, and they'd be like, oh, it's got to be more like Call of Duty because we like playing Call of Duty. And it's not enough like Call of Duty, and then they would go back and they'd make it more and more like Call of Duty until the playtesters like it, and they release the game, and then nobody buys it because it's like, why would I play this instead of Call of Duty? So it's similar, you know. It's that kind of like you have to take risks at a point, don't you? It sounds like James Cameron didn't. Well, I don't know. I'll need to watch it.
He definitely did not.
That's a shame. Yeah.
I'd love to hear the soundtrack as well. Like, they should have made it the original one that was created. They should have put that available. I'd love to hear what
that'd be interesting. Yeah,
sounds like.
I wonder if it's one of these weird copyright things where James Cameron like technically owns all the rights to it or something, and we'll just never hear it.
Probably.
Or it just gets leaked by some low down engineer who finds it on a USB stick one day.
I mean, it's been long enough. I feel like it would have
Yeah,
come out
maybe.
by now. Although, obviously, it's coming back with the
Yeah,
5 films or whatever nonsense it is.
it's cool when a film soundtrack does something a little bit unusual. Like, have you seen oh, what's the film called? Uncut Gems, that weird Adam Sandler film. It's not that weird, but about him being this kind of like, what is he? He's like a jewelry salesman. He's like a corrupt jewelry salesman. But for some reason, the soundtrack is like, it's like it's kind of like electronic jazz, but it's like really unusual.
Ooh. I actually haven't seen the film, but electronic jazz sounds like a vibe.
I think almost the soundtrack is better than the movie, really. Very unusual soundtrack for the film. They could have easily just gone like dum da dum da dum, you know. Oh, thanks for the follow, Rusty Ovenproof. I dig that name.
What a name!
I dig that name.
I love seeing Tabledid's little walk.
It's
So
alright,
cute.
isn't it? I lost the original GIF. I had that like on my desktop for the longest time, and I don't know where it went. I had to remake it recently. Yeah, always worth someone following to see that.
Yeah. I always find it interesting when a film's soundtrack is arguably better than the film.
I saw The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, which is a kind of an odd movie because it's got like all these stars in it, but I think it was an absolute box office bomb. I don't think anyone went to see it. But the soundtrack is by Nick Cave. Familiar with Nick Cave?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and it's, to be fair, it's quite a classic movie soundtrack, but it is. I didn't actually. He's in the film at the end. Nick Cave makes like a cameo. He like sings a ballad, and I was like, "Oh, that's really phoned in. That's really lame. I can't believe that." He just shoot. And then I found out he actually did the soundtrack. I was like, "Oh, that's fair enough." I felt a bit bad, but yeah. Him and Warren Ellis. Is it Warren Ellis? He like has someone he always does soundtracks with.
I've heard of Warren Ellis. I mean, I've also, as I said, I also have heard of Nick Cave.
Yeah,
but that's cool.
and that's a good soundtrack. I think it almost is better than the although the film was good. I do recommend it. Although it is like 3 hours long.
Oh, I love a good 3-hour-long film.
Do you?
On occasion.
On occasion.
On occasion.
I find, because I watch like, I kind of get in the zone and then I can watch like lots of 3-hour films. But I think when you kind of just be like, this is my afternoon now, I'm going into it.
Yeah.
Then they're not so bad. But when you are kind of antsy about it, if you have any doubts going into it, then
yeah,
best to avoid, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Why, have you seen a 3-hour movie recently?
John Wick 4.
Is it 3 hours?
Pretty much, but I kind of might just go see it again. It was so fun, just so much fun.
Was it good?
Like, it's just so good. I love John Wick. Weirdly enough, so I'm very into action films. I love those kind of big spectacle films. Like, I unfortunately am a huge Marvel nerd as well. Yeah. I love big things that are sort of dumb and just colourful and keep my attention like a child. But it's also just really beautifully made. Like, it leans into a lot of Western tropes, which was the point.
Okay.
And yeah, it's long, but it's just non-stop.
Do you know, I've definitely seen the first two. I can't remember if I've seen the third. I was on a holiday with my friends last year, and we were like, we're going to watch all the John Wick films. And I think we didn't actually get around to doing the third, so we only managed 2 of them. They are good fun.
They are long.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say, I feel like wasn't the first just like, I don't remember it being that long. John Wick 2. John Wick 2 is just over 2 hours, so, you know, kind of maybe standard length. And then the first one, under 2 hours. So, yeah, they're getting bigger and better, maybe. I don't know. I think I don't know, actually. I think I preferred the first. I think it was like a more classic film, if that makes sense. And then they were kind of... I think the second one had kind of more interesting ideas, maybe. The first was more classic. Something like that. Yeah, I haven't seen an action film. It's the first action film I've seen in a long time. Have you seen Kung Fu Hustle?
No, I haven't actually heard of it either.
I recommend that. That's like a
Okay.
classic. I think it's where before I get it wrong. It's like a classic, yeah, sort of mid-2000s. I think a lot of people compared it to The Matrix at the time, but it's just like loads of fun. It's kind of like this village, and for whatever reason, the mafia like has to take out this village. I don't know, but the village just happens to be full of like people with. Am I misremembering this? Maybe I am. I don't know. There's lots of like really like comic fight scenes almost, you know.
Nice.
And then they also did one called Shaolin Soccer, which is, I don't know if you've heard of that, where it's like it's like a soccer team, but everyone has like superpowers, and again, it's just like live action. It sounds a bit like an anime, doesn't it? But
yeah.
And that's good fun too. I think actually Kung Fu Hustle's better. I think they're both quite well. Kung Fu Hustle's quite violent, like comic violence, a bit like Kill Bill, I suppose.
Good film.
Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I think I've famously not seen the like last 10 minutes of it or something because the laptop ran out of battery or something. I had to go home. I can't remember. There's something about it. It's something like that. I never got around to it.
That's quite funny.
It's one of those films that's like you watch it and you think, wow, this is so tropey, and then you realise it kind of it created the tropes, didn't it?
Yeah.
One of those. Because I only saw it quite recently, but it's an old. Well, it goes post 2000, isn't it? Kill Bill. 2003, yeah.
Okay. It's like I have no idea. It's not one I frequently go back to. If I'm going to go back to a Tarantino, I'll probably go back to Pulp Fiction because that's just.
Oh yeah.
That's just iconic. Yeah.
It's definitely up there. I don't think of Tarantino movies. I've seen most of them, I think. I'd say I think it could be my favourite, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people, it was quite divisive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you not enjoy it?
No.
God, I loved it so much. I was beaming through the whole thing.
It was not for me, let's just say.
I like films that kind of know that they're films. I guess a lot of Tarantino is like that though, aren't they? They're kind of a little bit. But it just felt like Tarantino was just having like loads of fun making it.
Yeah.
And I felt like he had a real love for the era. And it was kind of his love letter to sort of 60s Hollywood. And I think that really shone through, even though he was kind of resting on his laurels for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe with it, I think, is a lot of it just feels very self-indulgent.
Yeah. That's what I love about it, though. I feel like he was just, I'm just going to make a film for me, and that's what I like. It just doesn't.
I mean, I respect it.
Yeah.
If I could do that, I would. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to just make it for myself and no one else.
Yeah. It was like, it doesn't matter if these two scenes have absolutely no relation to each other. I just want to make that scene. It kind of had that feeling to it. And that's what I enjoyed about it. Yeah, Pulp Fiction, obviously. Pulp Fiction, I think he did. For the time, I mean, it was made before I was born, but
yeah,
my understanding is it's certainly, there's no film quite like Pulp Fiction, is there?
It's just, I think it's just so well made in the way that it's just a bunch of tiny stories that all interplay.
Yeah.
And it's just,
and all of them are really just like, it's one of those things where, when you're reading a book and there's like multiple stories and they go to one. It's kind of a roundabout way of saying that you ideally want people to feel like when one comes to an end, you go, oh, I'm gutted that came to an end. But when you're thinking about that for all of them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it goes to like Bruce Willis or whatever. But then by the end of Bruce Willis, you're like, oh, I don't want to go back to. I don't want to go back to what's his name, Samuel L. Jackson, because I was enjoying Bruce Willis, and then eventually it goes back to Bruce Willis, and it's like, oh, but I was enjoying, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely that though.
It's a bit like Game of Thrones.
Interesting comparison, but I do see that. Yes.
Yeah. I haven't seen Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, it's very good. That's another.
I think that's like
top tier.
I think that's the best one I've not seen. Have you seen Jackie Brown? That I didn't enjoy that as much.
I haven't seen it
Yeah.
because I have heard a lot of people be like, it's mid.
Yeah, I had someone tell me it was their favorite, and I think it's the kind of film you like the idea of it being your favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah. Not a fan of Django Unchained, personally.
Oh, you know what is a good one that I think gets kind of overlooked? I'm gonna forget what's called now.
You overlooked it, Alex.
I have. Oh gosh, what's it called? It's the one about a bunch of people in a cabin, and it's like it's one room.
I don't think I've seen it. It's not The Hateful Eight, is it?
Maybe.
I just vaguely associate that with the cabin. Unless it's like a really early one.
Oh no, is it The Hateful Eight?
I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. So
It's The Hateful Eight.
It
yes.
is, okay.
I saw that in the cinema, I remember, when it came out with my parents, and the whole family went. And it was, again, very long, but just so good because he somehow manages to do the same thing with Pulp Fiction, where it's like a bunch of small stories, but it's in the same place. Like they're just locked, like they are trapped in this cabin.
Yeah.
But you get all these stories and they all come together really well. Yeah, good vibe.
I'll need to, got a lot of Tarantino to get through. I think
a lot of films.
I think you need a break between Tarantino's though, because they're quite. Do you know what I mean? They're quite similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a binge of Tarantino.
No.
What about the Coen Brothers? Are you a fan of the Coen Brothers?
I haven't seen much of the Coen Brothers, much to my shame.
Have you seen Fargo?
Oh, I have seen Fargo.
Okay.
But that's classic.
I watched this really bizarre film over Christmas called Kamiko the Treasure Hunter, which is about this woman in Japan who watches Fargo but thinks it's real, and then she like goes on a quest to find, you know how they bury the money at the end? She goes on like a quest to find that money. It's quite a recent film as well. It's like just the last couple of years. It's like this small little Japanese woman who kind of like just sets off. She like quits her job and goes to find this. Bizarre, but yeah, it's just really funny how it's like one of these films that like where it's kind of aware of the fact it like exists in the world where Fargo exists as a movie, if you know what I mean.
That's fun.
I don't know if I'd recommend it. I think if you're a fan of Fargo, I think, but otherwise,
okay.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Do you frequent the cinema often then, or are you more just of a?
Not really.
I
struggle with movies, to be honest. I feel like most movies, I'm usually lost by the. I think if you could split a film into like 3 quarters, I feel like the third quarter of a film is usually unnecessary.
The end?
No, not the end. The third quarter.
Oh, the third quarter. I know how that works.
I don't know why. I feel like a lot of films just need to like pace themselves a bit better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I usually go into films quite optimistic, and then I'm not. I don't know. There's a lot of films recently. Maybe I've just seen too many like films that haven't won me over recently. But I would say I'm bigger into music than I am films.
That's very fair.
But I've got my brother's a big movie buff. He's like probably seen as many films as I have. Listened to albums, and I remember he used to, when he was in sixth form, he lived at my parents' house. He used to just watch like 4 films a day.
Wow.
I think he's like slowed down since, but he was kind of famous for having seen virtually everything by the age of 15 or something.
Impressive and kind of scary.
Yeah, and he's kind of annoying because every time he's one of those people that every time I come to him with an idea, he's like, that sounds like this. And then you go and look it up and it is just that. Like you've had the same idea as something else, or, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, well, I guess you're right. But not that I'm having movie ideas very often, but I feel like, you know, he's sort of seen something in something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I last saw in the cinema. Been a while. Oh, it was probably that was a good film. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which won
Oh,
Best Picture.
great film.
And I feel like that's I don't usually think about this. I don't. Have I said this before on stream? Anyway, I think you should see it in the cinema if you can. I know that it's probably a bit trickier now, but at least at the time, I remember thinking like, because people say that often, don't they? They usually say like, "Oh, this is a film you have to see in the big screen," and I'm usually like, well, if you've got a big enough TV and you're sat, so far from it, and your lights are off, it's probably a similar experience. But I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I didn't see in like a particularly big cinema, but I just think it has that. It's that kind of like, it's such a roller coaster, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, how long's the movie? It's like 2 hours 20, and like the last 2 hours of it is the climax.
Yeah.
It sort of has 20 minutes is sort of set up, and then it just goes, and then it just doesn't stop. A lot of fun. No, I'm really glad it got best. I'm glad like a fun film got Best Picture. I know like Best Picture doesn't usually, the Oscars kind of skimp over a lot of art films and things, but I think they could have gone a little bit. I'm glad a film that kind of, it feels like everyone enjoyed. Feels like everyone enjoyed Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
It was technically not my number one pick for the film, like best film last year.
Oh, really?
My favorite film last year was Boiling Point. I don't know if you've seen it. It
I'm
is
aware
on Netflix.
of it. Yeah.
Just because I just thought the way they had such a fleshed out world within, like you were always following one person.
Oh wait, is this?
But you.
Boiling. I feel like there were two movies about. This isn't the horror one, is it? No, this is the one with Stephen Graham.
This isn't The Menu.
This is Stephen Graham.
Menu was my third favourite film.
Okay.
But no, this is the one with Stephen Graham, which is about a chef on one night at his restaurant.
I've heard it's like it's one of those films that like goes by in a flash. It's like really tense.
It's very tense, very quick. It's done in one take. They filmed the whole thing 3 times in one take. There aren't secret.
Really,
there aren't
there's no
secret.
Oh wow, Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham, what a guy.
National treasure.
Truly. But yeah, they basically, you're always following one person, and then you'll kind of switch around, and they'll each have like a little story, but in the same time you can see stuff happening in the background, or you can overhear someone as the camera moves.
Okay.
And you just get this whole sense of a 3D world. I just think and I was just so impressed. I was like, that's got to be it for me. But Everything Everywhere All at Once was something else. I kind of,
just going on what you're saying about Boiling Point, I think something I kind of figured out about myself is that my favourite movies, I know, does this sound really pretentious? I don't know. My favourite films are like where, or really my favourite like of anything is where it feels like kind of the location is more important than anything else. It's like, it's about the geography of the place. I don't know if that sounds like nonsense, but like similar to like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it feels like the character is Hollywood. That's the main thing about the film. It's about that location. It's about everyone in that location. It sounds like similar to what you're saying about Boiling Point. There's kind of like, it's all about the many things that are happening, and kind of the, you can almost like you smell the air of the place, and you can feel like who you might bump into if you went there, and it just feels like they're dropping you in somewhere for a time. And then you come back out. That's what I like about it. So yeah, no, I should give it a go then. I know Rachel has been meaning to, because she's quite a foodie, and I think she was saying, I remember because we've got quite a few foodie friends who like work in restaurants and things, and they were saying I could never watch Boiling Point because it would like ruin me or something like that, or maybe they said they had watched it and it did ruin them. Like I can't remember, or it's too similar to what they do like day to day, something like that. Which is a shame.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Sparrow says, I think about Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's so much in it that asks for multiple rewatches, which is even harder in the cinema. Yeah, that's true. I hope they... Well, to be fair, if I ever did rewatch it, I probably would just be at home. I don't see myself... I feel like you can have... I'm not going to be that, like, every time you watch it, it's got to be at the cinema. I had that feeling, though, with the film, that it would be that kind of movie that didn't. I know people have said though that it stands up to multiple rewatches, but I remember coming away from it thinking it wouldn't, just because so much of it is that surprise. It's kind of being like, do you know what I mean? It's about being caught off guard and not knowing what's going to happen next. But I've heard it does hold up. I don't know if you've seen it multiple times.
I have, and
Okay.
I definitely think it does hold up, but I do think there is something to be said for the first watch where you're sort of, because it's quite a bonkers film. Like,
Yeah.
some of the directions it takes are just, like, they leave you completely speechless.
Yeah.
And so those you can only really have once. But there are details and there are moments, I think, that
Yeah.
really help when you rewatch it.
Because it's not always about that first, like that first experience is always going to be different to the second experience, and the second one can be just as valid, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. So maybe I'll give it a go. I feel like I have this kind of rule. It's sort of it's a pretty hard rule, but I've broken it a few times, that I only watch a film if someone in the room hasn't seen it.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just I feel like I'm wasting my time. Like if everybody's seen the movie, like why are we watching it? Do you know what I mean?
Do you not have comfort rewatches? I know
I
films that are like-
don't do that. Not,
You don't
not
do comfort.
personally. No, because I could
Anti-comfort.
I could just be watching a new film. Do you know what I mean? I have broken it a few times. Like my favorite movie, I think, is Moon. Although to be fair, I probably haven't seen it in because I did comfort rewatch that. Oh, maybe 10 years ago though. I don't know. Maybe that's before the rule. I'm not sure. But and I'm glad I did, because I every time I watch that movie, actually, I feel like it gets better. Again, it's one of those things where it's about catching the details, because that's a film with I won't say anything actually if you've not seen it. Have you seen Moon?
I haven't, I don't think.
Oh, definitely watch. Definitely watch. That's another my favorite films. Genre of my favorite movie of films with Sam Rockwell in them. That seems to be a theme of mine. It's about catching the details you have missed. Sorry, this is Sparrow. You'll have missed the first time because you wouldn't see their significance. Yeah, I can see that. I don't feel like I missed anything though, but maybe I did. I think it could just be me being arrogant. I feel like that was almost what was good about the film, is that it wasn't trying to, unless I was totally wrong and I just missed everything, but it didn't feel like it was trying to be sneaky about anything. I think it set things up, and everything it set up, it resolved in a satisfying way. And I feel like it gave you, it was just such a well-paced and structured movie that it felt like I understood everything, even though it was like such an out-there film. Yeah. But I could be totally wrong. I probably need to give it a second go. Yeah, I've heard it's good in second rewatch. Did you watch? Oh, sorry, you go.
I was about to ask, what is Moon?
What do you mean?
I haven't. You said it has Sam Rockwell in, but I haven't actually heard of this film.
The less you know about it, the better, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. I don't think I want to say any more about that.
That's very mysterious.
Try and avoid synopses if you can. Just know that it's a person on the moon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably say that's my favourite movie.
That's fair. Mine is How to Train Your Dragon.
I think that's Rachel's favourite movie as well, actually.
It's just a perfect film.
It is good.
Like,
I need to see it again. Are you a fan of the sequels? I wasn't quite so sold on the sequels.
No, neither. The second film is very, very mid. The third one, I think, I like a lot more than the second, but it kind of should have been left alone. I think they should have just gone one and done.
What about the kids' TV series?
Depends on which one, because some of them are decent.
Are there multiple series?
Yes.
Oh, I was just joking.
And they keep bringing them out, and I hate it. They're making it a franchise. Funny. They're making it a live action. Like, no, don't.
I didn't realize.
We're getting a real life dragon.
I know I tapped into something there. A real life dragon.
I don't see the point. It's like they're making the live action Lilo and Stitch, And
Are they?
Lilo and Stitch is another one of my favorite films
Yeah.
ever, which is funny because it's the same people who made How to Train Your Dragon, and I didn't even realize for
Is it?
ages. Yeah, Krista.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't remember. Dean DeBlois and Chris someone. I can't remember.
Oh, cool. But they because one is Disney and the other's DreamWorks, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah. But I just perfect film.
I do remember it's one of those films that like I probably watched it when I was an age. I watched it at an age where I was probably too old. I wasn't the target audience, and I kind of go in sort of expecting to be, there's usually so good kids films are. Do you know what I mean? But I think it exceeded my. I remember it exceeding my expectations. I remember it being, just a well-rounded film. Yeah, I do need to see it again though. It's probably been. I feel like everything I've ever done in my life was 10 years ago. I feel like I did a lot in 2012 and 2013.
You peaked.
I don't think I peaked, but I don't know. I feel like that
you
was
were busy.
that was kind of the age where, because that was, well, it was sixth form. That was the age where I was like, I was no longer a kid. 2012. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like therefore, I don't know. I don't know. I consumed a lot of content.
Yeah.
That's when I started getting interested in films and music. Anyway.
That's good. That's cool. I think I was around the same time where, actually, no, I was into film and TV very early.
Okay.
And then I got into music a bit later, just because I was very obsessed with listening to film soundtracks for a long time.
Right.
It was like the only thing I listened to.
I went through a phase. Well, I pretty much, I think, like 2009, I listened to only the Beatles for the whole year.
What? A whole year?
But I was like a kid then, and then for some reason, and then I was like, wow, I've done their entire discography, all of their back catalogs, like 10 times or something. I don't know. And I was like, and then I got into REM, and I still kind of hold REM as like my favorite, just because I kind of grew up listening to them. That was kind of like during my formative years. But again, I probably did like 1 year of listening to nothing but REM. I could probably go through every single one of their albums and every single track and like give my thoughts on them. Probably more so than the Beatles. And then I think and then after REM, I think, yeah, about 2011, 2012, I started like broadening my horizons. But I think that's normal. I think you kind of, like you're saying with film soundtracks. I don't know if you had this, but like I guess film soundtracks could be a good avenue in. But I remember having that realization that like albums weren't just a collection of songs, that they kind of like have been sort of compiled and sequenced in an interesting way, or that you can have that similar experience to a movie through an album. I think obviously listening to a film soundtrack, I think I'm guessing, assuming the film soundtrack is sequenced similar to the film. They're not always, to be fair. I think I peaked late. This is Sparrow again. Sorry, I think I peaked late 20s, early 30s.
Oh.
I mean, you never know. You might be peaking now. That's the thing. But you kind of have to look back on it, don't you? That's
you
the
never
key.
know you've peaked until it's too late.
Yeah. I feel like, do you know James Acaster?
Yes.
He's done that, like, the best year in music was 2016. I feel like that's probably because he peaked in 2016 and he's like got good memories about it. I think for me, I'd probably make the argument for 2018. I feel like, because 2016 was okay, it was really good, but to me, 2018 is like close to my heart. But I feel like that was just like, yeah, I peaked 2018. That was a great year.
What's the best album off the top of your head that came out in 2018?
2018. Well, my favorite album of that year. Do you know Saba?
I don't.
He's like he's Chicago hip hop, and he did an album called Care for Me, which is still one of my favorite albums. I've softened on it a little bit, but I think it was one of those albums because it's about his cousin who got shot, and so the whole thing is this kind of like him working through that, and it kind of helped me kind of work throughout some things. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has that really kind of like just classic Chicago hip hop sound. It's got this slightly jazzy, really just, and it has that kind of really kind of just low key vibe to it, but it's also kind of sad. But he's such a like upbeat guy generally. I mean, his other albums I don't like because he's so upbeat. But and I think he kind of weaves that into it in like a really nice way. But it's still such a sad album. But you can tell he's always trying to look on the. I think I think he was able to create just. And apparently the whole thing was made like in a very the guy had to like fulfill some contract. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely my favorite album of the year. Probably still is my favorite album of the year. Of that year.
Nice. And what was that called again?
Care for Me.
Care for Me.
And the album is him kind of like sitting on his kitchen table.
That's very cool art. I'm gonna give it a listen.
I'm
always looking for new albums.
The first time I heard it, I was really not fussed about it, and then I think that I remember having this moment where it clicked for me, and then I just similar to my REM, I just listened to nothing but for about like for a few months. So I've spent the like last 10 minutes trying to figure out my layers, and I've still not figured them out. Sometimes I do this. I can't figure out where this is. This like color here. I've kind of been doing that thing where when you're like on the phone and you talk and you walk in circles. I've been kind of doing that with layers. I always go back to my art files after a stream and I go, what have I done? There's like a million new layers I've created just like anxiously. Well, not anxiously, but like, while I've been talking, I've just like created a layer and then not done anything with it. Anyway.
Yeah. Can you remind me what the name of these two fellows are? Because I don't remember.
I believe it's Sal and Olin. I think this one's Sal. And this one's Olin.
Nice.
I was actually putting in the code the other day to... Was I? No, I wasn't. I'm making stuff up. I've already put in the code, but it's not... No one's going to know. To actually make them... Because the idea is that one of them has one personality type and the other one has the other personality type, and you kind of... It's random which one you get. That's kind of the idea. Which also Pixie's character is going to be somewhat... Because they're also peas in a pod, aren't they? Sort of, less so. They're not two-headed, but they're multiple characters. So it's gonna rely on that as well.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I should probably get these guys working before Pixie's character, and then go from there. I just thought about that because I have been working on Pixie's character recently. Yeah, just popped into my head. Will this do? I feel like. It doesn't. I think it's not quite. I can do better. I can do a little bit better. Some of the backs of heads are a little bit lazy. I'll be honest.
I'm sure no one's gonna be looking too hard at them.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know.
Yeah. I always find it fun remembering that there are so many characters that are still to be added. Like I'll go in to play or to get some capture for TikTok and whatnot. And I'm just like, there's so much. There's still so much.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't get to, like, sit down and play properly all the time. Because
yeah.
This is a job. When it's out, I'm just going to be like, this is mine now. This is all I'm going to do.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I hope... I feel like for the first time I've been playing the game and I've been like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's hard to describe. Was I saying this the other day? I feel like the recent there's going to be a big overhaul to like how the items work. I think I've been talking about this for ages. And also, I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier with the teapot, the kettle, because now you're going to be able to use campfires to brew your own tea, so you don't have to wait for Bunk to show up. But there's going to be the game's going to be much more about, or there's going to be much more emphasis sort of on like finding things, brewing things, your items doing things. I think that's sort of what's been missing, I think. I hope so anyway. And then and hopefully people will just find being able to like brew some tea will be quite fun, and kind of experimenting with the different effects. That's the plan anyway.
Very calming. Make a real life cup of tea to sit down and make some virtual tea.
Although we've been doing localization, I think tea is going to be... I keep forgetting about it, but I need to... Because lots of languages, the way they say tea with something is completely different and doesn't follow the same grammar, and that's going to be a real nightmare to sort through because all the T's are generated. So I've got that to look forward to whenever that comes about.
So much to do.
So much to do. Where are we? April 10th.
Wait, no, today's the 11th.
11th. Oh dear. I'm just making stuff up. I even looked down at my clock and it said 11. I don't know why. I'm losing it.
The back of the heads are getting to you.
Yeah. Starting to see the back of my own head. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds a little bit.
I think it's a new saying. It's just that's a normal thing people say.
Yeah. It's for when you just, you're losing your mind. You're starting to see the back of your own head. And
that sounds like a real saying.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll say that.
Add it in game and it's canon. You're done.
Yeah. Although it's too late now. I've done all the text of the game.
Oh yes.
Which is scary. I think there's probably going to be a few things I missed. I already know there's a few things I missed. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. See, that's one of my favourite sayings. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because there's nothing in life you can't kind of make yourself feel better about by going, you know what, we'll deal with it when we need to.
And it's kind of, did you have that, like when you're a kid, you have to hand in like so many deadlines and they're like absolute deadlines. And I think part of being an adult is realising that like deadlines kind of don't really exist, but there's kind of just consequences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sort of being an adult is kind of about managing deadlines and, managing your time and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't know.
We'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Sparrow.
I quite like it.
Why
no crossing of bridges, just distraction.
That's different though, burning a bridge, isn't it? That's to do with like that's like if I was like me and Alex never talking again. I don't know why that would happen. But maybe she watches.
Work very hard.
Alex watches Moon and then tells me, "Wasn't that great?" That's right. Not first.
That's what we say now.
I'm pretty hardened when it comes to people dissing the things that I enjoy. I think when you go on enough like review websites and you see like the most scathing reviews for your favourite thing in the world. I remember when I was a kid that used to absolutely just eat into me. I was like, how could they not like, maybe I'm lame or something, but it's quite fun when you get used to it. You can, wait, hang on, what is this? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it cross that bridge when we get to it.
I like it.
Yeah. That's tautological.
Don't understand it, but it intrigues.
Ooh. Just hit my desk.
You're hitting everything today.
Yeah, I was telling Alex that before the stream I punched my radiator by accident as I was coming down the stairs with such velocity. I was going like Mach 10 down the stairs and it's right at the bottom of my stairs and I managed to punch it and like, well, I'm all bandaged up now, but yeah. And I was kind of, my hand still kind of is a bit fuzzy, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I broke anything, but I was pretty high on adrenaline when we started the stream. But I'm okay now. And what did I punch then? My desk. That was, to be fair, I kneed my desk. That was my knee.
I see.
Yeah.
It's very easy to knee a desk.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
especially
just in the way.
I've got a bar like because it's one of these goes up desks, and so there's this big bar right where my knees are. Which, to be fair, isn't usually an issue, but yeah.
I'd love to have one of those desks that raises.
I was really.
I feel like they'd be useful.
2018 was when I got it, and I was really in the habit. I used to every day I'd go up. I was really good about it, and I've totally lost it now. Keep forgetting. And it's one of those things where when I get it up, I'm like, I'm glad I did this, I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't do it. So, hey-ho. But what can you do?
Oh, it's Caroline.
She looks scared.
She-
Uh,
what have they seen?
yeah. Hang on. Oh, yeah. There we go. This is why most of the characters have. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. That's freaky. There we go.
Terrifying.
That's default. I think I do have. Oh yeah. This one's going to take ages. I've been putting this off for so long. The back of their head is just like so. I don't know. I could do it. I'm kind of not too happy about their head to begin with.
But Caroline's perfect.
I
There's nothing wrong with
I
Caroline.
think you could make them a little better. I think I can make them better.
But you can't improve upon a pet perfection. You can't.
I feel like the leaves are just a bit too. Like I wouldn't change the form of the character, but anyway. I don't know. Am I going to do this today? What the characters have I got? To be honest, I'm kind of Irving. I've been redesigning. I'm still not really happy with Irving. Oh, that's not good either. Sorry, I showed you.
The green eyebrows.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's fun.
It's fun. I quite like giving the most of the characters kind of like a sort of a flamboyancy. I quite like if I can do that, then I will. But maybe Irving's quite. I don't know. Playing with it. Has Molly? I think I've done Molly. Yeah, I'm sure I've done Molly. Oh, there's another freaky, all the eyes laid at once.
And no mouth.
No
All
mouth.
eyes, no
I'm not
mouth.
sure why there's no mouth. That is strange. Got Marlene here, who I don't think has made an appearance much at all. I'm not super happy with Marlene.
I haven't seen Marlene before at all.
Marlene
Is that
dates back
horseradish?
to Beetroot.
Beetroot.
Kind of not, because the beetroots have the red veins kind of going through the leaves, and I kind of haven't done that in a way that I'm happy with. I think I've done it about 2 or 3 times now. Harriet. Am I happy with Harriet? Oh, maybe not, because I've removed every single part of the... I think Harriet's gone through about... Wow, they don't even have the eyes anymore. I must have deleted them in frustration.
Poor Harriet.
Poor Harriet. Okay. Oh, we're not doing well, everyone. I'm sorry. Erica is another peach. Oh no, they've got no eyes either.
You're on an eye rampage.
I did. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know what to do then. I feel like eyes are such a difficult thing though. They don't take that long to draw and you have to kind of get them right. I'm kind of just going through all the unreleased characters now. Shelley, I've still, because they're meant to be a mushroom, their face doesn't even align with the body here.
Oh, I love that though.
Shelley used to look very different. I think I completely redid Shelley.
I think I've seen a very early Shelley version, and it was very, very
Completely
different.
different mushroom, yeah. There must be one I'm like partway through. Lonnie? I think I'm umming and ahhing about Lonnie. With the glasses.
Such a long head. I love it.
Lonnie's okay. I quite like the mint, the mint sunglasses. Not sunglasses, but glasses. Right, maybe I could do something better with them though. I'm not sure. But we could do the back of Lonnie as our last head. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get my act together on those other characters though.
I want to see Shelley. This is my...
Really?
I'm excited for Shelley.
I just need to figure out a way to... I mean, I could just... Like, I just want a better way. The thing is, I don't want to just, like, do... Well, it could be okay. I don't just want to do the same face for all of them, you know? I'm quite keen to shake things up a little bit if I can. And I kind of want something slightly weird about each character as well. I kind of don't just want to draw a mushroom in there. To be fair, though, they're slightly an unusual mushroom, aren't they? I'm not sure what mushroom this is. Have I got loads of... There's loads of layers in here as well. Oh, like old eyes and things. What's this? Oh, different mouths. Okay, let's move on. I'll do Lonnie. I'm toying with the idea of having like, because at the moment, I changed it so that you don't have to unlock a character for them to visit your garden, but a random character appears every day, just to vibe out. They might not stay. But I'm toying with the idea of just having like maybe a random number between 2 or 3 characters appear every day. Especially as the numbers of characters go up, I feel like that might be fun. I'm not sure.
Do you know how many there are in total?
In terms of like planned as well.
Yeah.
I think I set myself the goal. Let me find my Notion. It's between 40 and 50.
Wow.
I think I remember thinking I want about 50. Does Notion do like a tally?
Probably, I just don't know off the top of my head.
Table? Count 50. Yes, I set there's 50 planned with.
Wow.
Then how many haven't we done? Oh, there's some we did. Lester the Lazy Fig, didn't we do that at some point on stream?
I think so.
That rings a bell.
That rings a bell.
How come I didn't save them? Or maybe I did. I must have
They're
saved
somewhere.
them. They're somewhere.
In the files.
They're somewhere. Maybe. Anyway, but yeah, 50, and then plus 50 plus and there's 3 backer characters as well. So I guess 53, I guess. I don't know if we've... Didn't I draw like a grape? I drew a grape and everyone was like, you have to include that grape.
Yes, I think I remember the grape.
I don't know if I've got them either. I must do. Where did my stream characters go? Maybe I just saved them somewhere different. Just looking at my files now. I'll find them, don't worry. I'll find them. Fingers crossed.
They're just buried in the depths somewhere.
Buried in the depths.
Just waiting.
Yeah, they're waiting for their moment. Biding their time.
Soon they will pounce. You won't be ready for them.
I don't know about that. I'm not. Got a new CPU arriving later today. Which,
that's exciting.
Going back on me peaking in 2018, actually I think my CPU I got into 2017, so it's even older than that. Have you ever dabbled in computer parts?
Absolutely not.
No?
I am so okay.
Really?
Yeah, just not for me.
What do they say? It's just adult Lego is all it is.
I prefer normal Lego. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I think everyone should give it a go at some point. I think especially to like, I feel like getting that sense of like, it's a bit like when you grow your own food. Do you know what I mean? You like have this sense of this is how things work. You know, you have an appreciation for. You know, your computer isn't just this black box. It's sort of like, oh, I understand. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think it's worthwhile, but I'm terrified of it, and I don't need to. So I'm okay.
Oh, that could be. There's a knock on the door there. Oh,
Speak of the devil.
Someone's got to. There's loads of people at my house at the moment because there's family round. Rachel's family here.
Aww.
But my CPU required a password to be delivered, so I've given them the password, which I've never encountered before.
Is it like a code word?
Yeah, you have to give them.
You have to speak it.
I thought it might have been a word, but they gave me like a 6-digit code, like a you know, like when you sign into Twitch or something, you have to check your emails and get a code. Or usually it's Alex signing into TikTok, and then I have to get the code from. But yeah, looking forward to it's going to be crazy. I'm going to be developing the garden path at 3 times the speed, unless I break my computer and lose all my files, and then
God,
20
don't say that.
2026, everybody. No, don't worry. The game is backed up in 3 different locations.
Wow.
And is backed up daily. That's a lie, actually.
Good.
It's not daily. It's every other day. Oh no, is it? Yeah, it's every other day at the moment. Unless I remember to update the GitHub repository, which I don't always do, to be fair. But yeah, I've had a couple close calls, and it saved my bacon. So I do recommend. I don't know. Do you have any backups? Maybe you don't have too many files. I definitely had a point where, like before the Garden Path, I just didn't have files I needed to back up. Like, if everything crashed and burned, it would suck, but it wouldn't be like, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a lot of like online drives, so because a lot of my work moves around from PC to laptop to phones to iPads, it's just easier to have everything like on a Google Drive or somewhere. I
feel like I almost made the plunge on that, but my internet speed is just not quite good enough to kind of do the whole. And they often, I'm surprised upload speeds. They never give you a good upload speed, do they? On your package, I always find. Well, I've got like what have I got? Like 10 megabits a second, which takes ages. And there was a time before I knew how to use Itch Butler, which is the service that like updates the Garden Path, where I used to upload the entire game every time I wanted to do a patch, which took about 45 minutes. And so, yeah, it wasn't the smoothest process. And then Sparrow was like, I can't remember. Sparrow said something like, oh, Butler must be working strange. And I was like, oh, yeah, Butler. And then I actually looked into what Butler does.
Fair enough.
Which means every time I do a patch, I only have to upload about like 90 kilobytes or something, as opposed to... I don't know, how big is the game? It's like 2 gigabytes, I think. No, it's not quite that big. Anyway.
I'd be so scared of losing it. Like, I remember, did you ever hear the story about Toy Story?
No.
Toy Story basically got deleted. Like, it had been finished, it had been finalized, and then, I can't remember the exact details, but it basically crashed and was completely lost.
Surely
and it
not.
So happened that someone had an old computer and they still had the majority, like pretty much all of the files on that computer after like they had just updated it and it was like in a garage somewhere. And they were able to save Toy Story from like potentially never being released because it would have just been lost. And that's Pixar.
Yeah, I suppose backups in the day were probably much more difficult to do, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean, even storage was like so much more precious. So, I guess maybe that makes sense. But you just, everything must be backed up like 100 times these days. That's crazy. I wonder what made it fail.
I can't remember the details.
Backups are cool though. I recommend them. Sometimes I just save over things and I'm like a complete idiot, and I have to go back and I've got the file right there. Turns out.
Well, he's looking good, I think.
Not too bad. I think these glasses are a little bit too mint. A little bit too mint. But I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely
that teal colour's nice.
Yeah, there's definitely a. Yeah.
I like that kind of greeny teal.
Yeah. Just trying to see if. Are we in yellow territory? Like that? No.
Ooh, I think that's fun. Sparrow says want something contrasty like that. I presume that was the tealy green.
Is it the tealy green? I prefer this actually. It's less more in keeping. You can't really see Lonnie's eyes is the trouble. But I kind of, I'll play with it. I mean, I don't know how far away you'll be. I think it's okay actually, because when they emote, they'll kind of, I don't know if I've done Lonnie's different eyes. Like closed eye, you can see the closed eyes there, can't you, from a distance? I do need to shade the glasses. So much. Oh, is it a rainy day where you are? We had a lovely Easter.
Oh, we had a great Easter too.
Yeah.
It's been a bit off and on
Yeah.
the last couple of days, though, unfortunately.
It's proper spring weather, really. I think that's it.
Mm.
April showers.
Oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't
That's
it?
a thing.
I kind of forget about that.
It's not always the case. There's my grandma has a saying. I'm sure it's not her saying, but ash before oak, in for a soak. Oak before ash, in for a splash. I think. Ash before... Yeah, I think that's right. So but we went on a walk and we couldn't see any ash trees. I think there's very few ash trees these days. Apparently there's some kind of disease which is kind of wiping them out. Something like that, yeah. Maybe Sparrow's heard it. I think it's one of these old sayings. Because what do they also say? Is it March comes in like a lion and comes out like a lamb?
I've never heard that.
Something, there's one month that goes... Comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. Ash dieback, yeah. That's right, we were talking about it the other day. There's also Dutch elm disease, which is like I don't know if it's killing all the elms. I feel like this is something we might have talked about on stream before with Sparrow's input. March is in like a lion and out like a lamb. I think we had the opposite this time, didn't we? No, wait, no, we had it. Oh no, it was really rainy at the end of March, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So it came in like a lion and out like a lion.
Damn lion.
But yeah, you're meant to look at whether ash or oak is the leaves have come out, and then depending on that, supposedly dictates, you know, how rainy it's going to be. Because I think a splash is preferable to a soak. But you're going to get in either way. You're gonna get wet. So I wonder what the exact reason is that it's more rainy in spring. Is it just because it's suddenly warmer? There's something about precipitation. I don't know.
I don't know anything about geography.
Got no idea. Yeah, geography is my weak point. Dutch elm disease wiped out most of the elms in the country in the 80s. Oh, really? So, because my dad was saying that basically every elm in the country basically has it, but just kind of exists with it. And it's why in the kind of late summer, elms... Is this elms? Maybe it's something else. There's one tree that all the leaves kind of go a month or two before all the others. They turn like... they start losing their leaves. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up with something else. Or maybe it's
I'd believe you.
Anything left is a handful of resistant specimens. Oh, so maybe that could be it. There used to be elms in the game. It was the first tree ever in the game, and then I got rid of them. Can't really remember why. Maybe I learnt about Dutch elm disease. I'm growing. I don't know if you followed my Calamondin escapades when I talked about it in stream, Alex. Because I killed my last citrus plant and now I've planted a little one. Because I was like, I can't trust myself to buy a big one. Because I bought a big one for 30 quid and they just killed it. So I was like, I'm gonna buy. It turns out you can just get little little plugs that you just pop in the soil on eBay. They just send it to you in a box, and
What?
you just pop it in some soil, and it seems to be doing really well. So, and my theory is that if it grows up in my office, it will become acclimatized to my office.
That's how it works,
Let's
right?
see, yeah, I think so.
Sounds right.
As long as it survives, it might not survive initially, but hopefully, if it does survive, it means it's liked the environment.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my theory.
It's true. I have all my plants on the top shelf above my desk because they always
Is
get
that
light
good
up
light?
there.
Yeah.
Um, although I've got one plant that's just it's like one of those money plants,
Oh yeah.
and it it always just looks so desperate for the light. Like the way it moves, frankly, quite scary. But it's doing well. I'm hoping it'll just keep growing.
I think money plants are pretty indestructible, aren't they?
I mean, you say that, but there's also what's it called, devil's ivy. That's meant to be like the easiest thing.
Yeah.
And I killed it immediately. So I didn't kill it. I brought it back from the dead.
Okay.
But it had so many leaves that were beginning to come out of the pot, and now there are like 3.
Oh, that might just be the season, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, it was me.
Okay.
It was 100% me.
Yeah. We have. Do you know ZZ plants? They're like a really popular house plant.
I don't.
Because I think they're famous for like being indestructible, and I think it looks like we might have killed our second.
Oh.
I don't know how it's possible. I think they just don't like the corner of the living room we have them in. I think they're like part succulent. So they're kind of like a big cactus. They don't look like cactuses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they should in theory be indestructible, but we're just offing them. But I did a lot of pruning, and I'm hoping that like giving it less to worry about will less things it has to keep alive of itself.
Mm-hmm.
will give it the spruce it needs to exist for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd recommend them. I think they're good looking plants, and I think they're hard to kill. Everyone says they're like the easiest plant to survive. We have a load of those snake plants, or mother-in-law's tongues. I don't know if you've got one of them. That's another classic. And
I don't have a huge amount. So
ours
I don't think I have that, but...
ours just like, yeah, they just, no matter what we do, they just look absolutely like they're thriving. So recommend those. Stock up on those. And we got this guy, of course. He's another classic. I see these all the time. You go into like H&M's or something. I don't know. I don't go into H&M's often, but I've gone into like department stores with some friends, and for some reason these are always in them. I think they're a type of banana that for some reason do well in Bristol.
I mean, maybe Bristol's the place for bananas. Who can say?
I don't know if it produces fruit, alas. I think maybe it does, but it needs tropical climates. Looks like I've lost a lot in the garden, thanks to either late frost or an unusually hard winter. Was the winter? Do you think it was a particularly unusual winter? I think you're west from me, aren't you, Sparrow? Maybe it was different. But yeah, we are still getting. I think we've got some frosts coming up. I know Rachel's been eager to. It's really hard to know when the last frost is. I don't know if it matters too much. But we're not really doing seedlings this year, I don't think.
I just want to get my sunflowers and tomato plants planted. That's it. That's what I'm doing this year.
I've given up on. I think I posted this in the Discord, but I'm not doing tomatoes this year. But I did buy some sunflowers. I feel like I like the idea of just filling my garden with sunflowers. I feel like, and every year they seem to do really well. So
The sunflowers are so lovely. They're just the best
They are one of my favorite flowers, I think. And I bought some perennial ones that like come back every year, but they're not real sunflowers. They're like fake sunflowers. They're like a certain type of flower that's been, bred to look a bit like a sunflower. Much smaller flowers. West Wales, low altitude, very mild, usually very mild. We've had several snowfalls and really hard frosts this year. Okay. Yeah, I think we're kind of
off my sunflowers.
Oh, have you got sunflowers there?
They're my Lego sunflowers.
Oh, yeah, Lego ones.
So they
I had
never
to
die.
zoom in, yeah. Oh, I rate that. That's funny. I didn't know they did those.
They do so much nowadays, but yes. Did not mean to intrude on the frost talk.
I didn't realize how pink I was in my webcam. I don't know why that's happened. I think it's gotten dark and my webcam is like overcompensating or something.
That's fair.
Or maybe it's Lonnie. Maybe it's because Lonnie is. When you like. Is there a
I
website?
think it is Lonnie.
Isn't it? There used to be a website, sometimes red, sometimes blue.com. Is it? Oh, it is still real. It says my face is really red now because it went red, and now it's blue. Oh yeah, it literally is Lonnie. Here we go. Bets on red or blue.
I'm going blue.
It was red. God, that makes a real difference, doesn't it? Look at that. I'm going blue. No, I was red again. Going blue. Hey. Okay, we've had our fun. Yeah, look, it literally is Lonnie. And if I scroll over there, it's dark like the purple. That's so cool. I don't know, it's not that cool. Okay.
Oh, what have they done?
I think we're coming to the end of the stream. I think we might have exhausted.
You might be right. Lonnie good.
Let me do one more emotion for Lonnie. What have we got? I think there's 8.
Can we do the shock one? I always love the one where their eyes are.
I've done shocked. I do need their O. Have they got their O mouth there? Did I get rid of their eyebrows? Wait, did they have eyebrows? Oh, there we go. Oh, their eyebrows is on one of their mouth layers. That's not good. Let's fix that. Okay. I'm trying to remember what there is. There's. So I've got 4. Open, close, shocked. There's worried, angry, thinking, and then one more. Oh, and suspicious. Any of those take your fancy, Alex?
What did you say? Suspicious?
Yeah.
Suspicious. It's got to be that. That's so fun.
That is fun. I'm not sure how I'll do suspicious with. Oh, I could do like a. Could do like a. Look over to one side like that. That
I love the side eye.
It kind of works. Is that readable? I think so.
With the current mouth though, it does look just very a smirk, not a sus.
Yeah, there's different.
I like it.
There's different emotion qualifiers. I think these eyes with this is sly.
Nice.
And then I think with the. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh, Lonnie doesn't yet have the. Whereas yeah, with the sad mouth like that, it's that is just suspicious.
It's so good.
That's all right, isn't it? Okay, cool. We did quite a few backs of heads. That's actually good progress. I really want to get Caroline in the game. I feel like people have really warmed to Caroline as a character, and they're just not in the game yet. Because I haven't got around to doing the back of her.
Caroline's iconic, and
yeah.
They need to be there.
So maybe I'll make that a priority. I do want to get the new item system in the game, hopefully by the end of this week. So characters have taken a bit of a back foot, but I think it would be good for 0.7 to do like maybe a batch of new characters. I mean, Lonnie's pretty much ready to go now. Who else did we do? It'd be cool to get Elvis in. We did Elvis earlier. People quite like Elvis. They always go, "Whoa, Chili Pepper!" I don't know why. I've had that reaction a few times.
I believe that.
There's Elvis. Yeah, so it'd be cool to get.
There's so much character as well. Like they just have I think it's the slightly lidded eyes that just gives this like kind of cool vibe.
They're an unusual one, actually. They're the only character I have that looks like with these type of eyes. But yeah. So it'd be good to. Yeah, I just need to do the rest of their eyes now. I think the back of their head's probably ready. Just about, anyway. I'll do a little touch up. Yeah. Successful stream. Oh,
We'd love to see it.
Levanus.
Yeah.
The one we started with. Will in there. Let's do the read-offs. We got what have we got? At From Carrot Cake, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, Clara's just joined. Sorry. Oh, just was that. I hope I didn't miss your message. You able to catch a bit of the stream. I'm really glad you popped in, Clara. Even if it was just for the last bit. Oh, and someone called Player as well. Hi, Player. I'm so sorry. We're just ending the stream now. But I really appreciate you popping in. Let's for the people who just popped in, let's go through who we've done. We've done Levanus. We've done Elvis here. We've done the back of their heads. I've done the front of their heads before. We've done Sal and Olin, who are kind of like a double character. We didn't do Caroline in the end because that's gonna take me too long. Who else did we do? And then we did Lonnie. I think it was just those. So, not too bad. But thanks.
Very successful.
Thanks for joining us. And yes, gonna do the Out From Carrot Cake on Twitter, YouTube, where else? Instagram, TikTok. That's everywhere. Is that everywhere?
Yes. And then obviously Discord.
Oh, and Discord, yes. Which I don't think you have to be like a really big server, don't you, to get your like own.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day maybe one day. But yeah, there's a link right there in the not in the YouTube chat, but I think maybe in the description there's a link to the Discord and YouTube.
Yeah, there should be.
Okay. I'm there. Alex is there. What have we been talking about recently? I can't remember. Easter. There was some Easter chat.
There's always book chat and
Book chat, yeah.
general garden chat. It's good time.
Good times. And I think the only other one is I lost my train of thought. Is Steam wishlisting on Steam, because that gives us the numbers and helps us out, and I think notifies if you want the game on Steam anyway. But even if you don't, if you have an account, always helps. Oh, it's not an apple actually. I think it's a. Or they are a plum, I think, of a certain type. You know those like you get those long plums, don't you? I know there were different types of plums when I looked at it. I'm on my sometimes red, sometimes blue again. Because you do get those. You get those kind of round, dark plums, and the long ale plums. Am I making that up? I'm googling plum and it's not coming up with what I thought it would. Oh yeah, I think it's meant to be like this. Hang on, it's coming. Any moment now. Yeah, like these. So kind of like red, but slightly longish. Oh, cheers for the sub, Player. Okay. Oh, and how's the TikTok going, Alex?
It's going good. We popped off. We got people love the characters, and so if people want to keep up with all the characters and all the good fun stuff, yeah, we had one get over. It's on 350,000 views.
Is it really? That's cool.
Something like that. Yeah, it really took off. People love the characters.
Yeah, it seems like those ones do well. We just kind of do that. I should say when you do that whole like roll call thing. So yeah, more characters. God, I used to do loads of them for you, didn't I? I haven't done one of those in a while where I would give you.
I was like,
yeah, we haven't done one.
I was gonna wait until we were finished. And I was gonna send you a sneaky message being like, "Can I get some more?"
Yeah.
And if you brought it up.
Because I do little batches tonight. Well, maybe I'll do it. Yeah. Okay, that's a good. For the end of the week, maybe I'll try and get 3 more characters ready for the game, and then do some gifts for you.
Amazing.
That could be a little thing to do. Cool. Oh, thanks so much for joining, everyone. It's been good little talk. What have we done? We've done movies. We've done Deja Vu. how mirrors work. Been alright. Covered lots of
Been a
ground.
wild one.
The next stream will be, provided civilization hasn't collapsed, will be the 25th of April.
Exciting times.
So put that in your diary. Who knows what it's going to be? I don't know.
Fern will be back.
Will it be Fern? Okay.
Mhm.
I never usually. I'm never usually sure. I usually find out like the day or two before. I usually find out by that tweet that you send out. I'm like, oh, cool, it's going to be Alex this time. Not that it matters, of course. Whoever wants to join me on stream, it's more than welcome. Okay, cool. But yes, I'm not sure what we'll do. I don't even know what I'm going to be like as a person on the 25th of April. I can't even imagine getting there. So I hope we all look forward to that. Otherwise, who knows when we'll next see Alex? Might be a little while, but
who can say?
Who can say?
You can always see me on TikTok.
Yes,
I'm always.
Alex always on TikTok. But no, thanks for joining the stream, Alex, and
thank you for having me. Thanks
everybody in the chat. Hope you have a good. I can never remember them. Evening, afternoon. I need like a practice my morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you might be. We'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thanks again.